Okay, it's not dropping. And there it goes. Delay. See if I can do this without getting kicked off. Well, whatever. It's good enough. Hi, everyone. My name is John Crump, and I am the Virginia State Director for Gun Owners of America, and I am an investigative journalist. And we are coming to you from a special time. We're not going live at 5 p.m. Eastern like we usually do. That's because I was traveling. That's why I couldn't be at Lobby Day today. And I really wish I could have been at Virginia's Lobby Day. But, family stuff has to come first. It is what it is. We are sponsored by Tusk. Tusk is the friendly cryptocurrency, the gun-friendly cryptocurrency. If you go to tusk.network, that is tusk.network. You can learn all about it. TUSC.network to learn all about it. The only gun-friendly cryptocurrency out on the market. I have a Patreon, patreon.com/John Crump if you like what I do here. And with that said, we're going to jump into it. Today, I wanted to have someone on who knows a little bit about pro shooting because I am not a pro shooter and not a bad shooter, but I'm not anywhere near like a pro level. So I wanted to have someone who's a world champion on. And this is who I'm having on today. Her name is Becky Yackley. Let me bring her in. What is up, Becky?
Hey, John, how's it going?
Not bad. Wrong one. Have you ever had one of those days where it's just everything's going wrong?
Yes. And I can say, don't be nervous. Just go with the flow.
Yeah, I was just like my
Well,
camera. Yeah, my camera's like not working. Then I realized that I didn't have it hooked up into my feed. So
Could be problematic.
that could be a big problem there. But we are now live and we are on the road. So first question. When you sent me your phone number when we were setting up the podcast, I noticed you had a 571 area code.
Yes. Don't be giving out my phone number. No. Yeah. So
I'm not giving out your phone number.
we lived in Virginia for a while.
Oh, really? Where?
Stafford, Woodbridge area. Well, my husband was on active duty at several times, but at that point that I got that phone. Yeah, we're in Virginia.
Okay. So you've done it Quantico?
Ish.
Quantico-ish. Yeah. Yeah. I know all about the military life. My wife was Air Force, and now she's public health. She's Swamp Dog Armory out there in Nick Torres. All right. So let's get into you. I really wanted to touch on like what it takes to be a pro shooter and stuff. You are a professional shooter. You are not just a professional shooter, you are a champion level professional shooter.
Well, I guess I have a hard time using the whole pro shooter uh name, if you want to call it that, title. Because for most of the people who compete at a high level, whether that's pistol, rifle, shotgun, whatever discipline they compete in, most of those people have a real job. There's very few that don't do something else besides shooting. There's a couple big names out there, like they get paid just to shoot, but for the majority of people, what it means is you're doing other things, and the shooting's kind of one of the really fun parts of it. But I do a lot of blogging and writing and content creation. I manage channels. I do catalog work. It's really rewarding to see the work that you do. And then sometimes it's frustrating. Like, it'd be nice to just go to competitions and focus on just shooting. Usually I'm there with my one or more of my family members. So again, like, to just focus on only the shooting. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes that doesn't happen. So more often than not, it's not just the shooting and the competing that is what's going on. It's all those things in the background. And
Yeah.
yeah.
one of my friends, Di Mauler, was a Tulsa cop and shot professionally. So yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, there's a lot of, there's a lot of people who compete who are, they're retired, and maybe they have a full-time job otherwise. So you're going to see, when people say I'm a pro shooter, you should really look at, well, if I don't know, like if you want to say it's a great term, it's not a great term. I don't know. Because I think that truly, for the most part, everybody who competes has some other thing they do or did. And it's not like you just have these people that all they do is go around and travel around and shoot. There's very, very few of those. And even those generally have, contractual obligations to go and teach and instruct. And so people are really, if they're a pro shooter, they're actually doing a lot of marketing work. And that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, but I think it's a lot like professional jujitsu guys and pro MMA people. Most of the people who are pro in MMA have day jobs. You have the people in the UFC, which might not, but even the people in the UFC, a lot of them have to teach to supplement their income.
Right.
So it is that. How'd you get into shooting?
So I got into shooting because my dad, he gunsmithed for Krieger barrels for 30 plus years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I started shooting high power and small bore. When I was in high school, my sisters, my dad, my mom, my dad took us to a class actually. It was a former instructor for the Marine Corps high power team, Jim Owens. And he's an awesome guy. We got to take his class several times. So there's like, the three blonde teenage girls sitting in there, and we got to go shoot. And, my dad, I would travel. Like I was on the Whistler Boys team for Camp Perry a couple times, and I did a lot of high power in the summer and then small bore in the, school year when I was in high school. But my dad and I, when I would go to matches with him, he'd generally come home with work. He'd have a gun, a barrel to fit, or something to do. So it was a way to kind of, in a way, it's kind of what we do now, where you're doing something else in addition to the shooting. It's not like you're just going shooting and having fun. There's some goal tied to it. Whether that's like for my dad, that was marketing his business, right? And for us, we're working with different brands and we're taking their products to events and we're sharing what we can do with those products and bringing home content that we can use and we can share with those brands so they can further tell people what their stuff does.
That sounds cool though. It sounds like a lot of fun. I'm not the best shooter in the world. Like I'm not bad, but I'm not like like super like competition level shooter. I can teach better than I can shoot, I guess.
So can everybody see you wrestling with that microphone like I can?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're competent. I mean, you are a pro level microphone wrestler.
Yeah, no, it like one of the things just came off, and if I don't fix it, it will start rattling. I ordered another shock mount, but it's not here yet. It was supposed to be here, but it got lost in the mail apparently.
I think there's a lot of that happening right now.
So I have no idea where the hell it is. So I'm wrestling with a shock mount that's on its way out. But I'm thinking of just replacing the whole mic and getting a pod mic instead, which I think it would be a little bit nicer.
Awesome.
And plus it's my OCD. It's like not fixed, so it's like I have really bad OCD.
Well, so then you would excel in some parts of shooting because you have to have a little bit of obsessive compulsive desire to make things just so. So that's a positive.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm a bad shooter. I'm a pretty good shooter, but I'm not like on your level or people that you compete against. What do you do 3-gun at all?
Yes. So our family, if you don't know, it's myself and my husband, Mark, and then our 3 sons, Tim, Sean, and Andrew. And all 5 of us compete in 3-gun USPSA, IPSC. We shoot Bianchi pistol. Tim, our oldest, he's 22. He and I have been to the last 2 rifle world shoots, the last 3 shotgun world shoots. And Tim has a slot for Thailand for pistol world shoot that was supposed to happen last year. And it's hopefully pushed to this year. But yeah, we shoot just about everything. I'm doing a little bit more PRS last year and this year.
PRS. What is PRS?
Precision rifle shooting. So long range rifle shooting.
Yeah. A little bit behind the curtains here. Sometimes I ask questions that I know the answer to, because I know people out there might not. Yeah, precision rifle. That's fun. That's what I would. If I did any type of competition, it would be precision rifle.
Yeah, it's a different discipline. For our family, we started shooting. My husband and I met in college on the rifle team, so we both shot small bore, air rifle. He shot a little bit of high power, but I shot more high power and small bore. He did air rifle, air pistol, small bore. And then as our kids were younger, we didn't get to tons of competitions. It's kind of one of those, the function of having small children. And then as they got older, we got into USPSA. And then we started shooting 3-gun, IPSC, Bianchi. And we shot Bianchi pistol, because it's a very accuracy-focused discipline. And we wanted to become not just good pistol shooters, but excellent pistol shooters. And it's really a great discipline for a new shooter as well, because there's 4 events. They have par times. It's super simple in that regard. I mean, you have to get into this like minutia of how to do it very well, so it can become something that like when we get close to Bianchi Cup, we spend all of our time just shooting pistol. But then, so take that. Then when we go to 3-gun, it's funny. Rob Leatham, one time we heard him say, he goes, 3 guns for people who can't shoot a pistol. And we kind of laughed. We're like, well, people who shoot a pistol well are going to excel in 3-gun, because if you just do everything, just maybe you're okay, or you're better than average with all three platforms, you're going to do fine. But if you are able to excel in all of them, then you're going to do very well. So that was kind of like our goal with doing the Bianchi pistol. Then we did some more, shotgun only things. We've done PCC, and the PRS was kind of, again, getting into a little more of like very precise long range rifle shooting, and doing a little more focus there to help when you go back to shooting, like if you're shooting a 3-gun match and you're bopping between, rifle, pistol, shotgun, when you get to rifle and you have long range, you're going to have a little bit more skill in the discipline it takes to get, first round hits on long range and all that.
No, that's cool. That sounds like a lot of fun. I used to shoot a gun, a rifle called a Ritter and Stark. They were around for a couple of years. They were like precision rifles, but they went out of business. They were from Europe. They're very, very nice rifles. Very expensive though. But what I usually shoot now is I don't really shoot anything more than the 300 Win Mag, because I have to go to West Virginia to reach out to range on that. But it's a Remington 700, and it has a MDT chassis and stuff like that.
So you're in Virginia, yeah?
Yeah,
so
Northern
you have to go
Virginia.
To Peacemaker or somewhere to shoot long range?
No, I go to a place called Panthera Arms.
Okay.
Panthera Training Center. It's not a private range. I mean, it's not a public range. It's a DoD range.
Okay.
So I go out there. It's like open. They do a lot of DoD training and stuff like that. It's a really cool place. It's the only place where they're like, "Hey, you want to go roll cars and get out and shoot?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?"
Not many ranges are going to offer you that.
Yeah, they actually have cars that will like flip, that are made to flip. They have like big roll cages around them.
Oh, okay. So it's not just like super redneck, like take a tractor and tip a car over or something.
No, this is I don't know. Have you ever been through anything like of fact training,
No.
foreign affairs, counter threat training?
Nope.
They teach you how to like drive from like the passenger seat of a car in case your driver gets taken out. And they teach you to do like J turns and to engage targets. Um,
Driving
yeah,
from a car. J turns I've got down. My dad taught us all how to, do a turn that way. A little
yeah,
faster.
yeah. So it's fun. They have it's a really cool place. If you're ever out here, our range that you can go. They have a 360 range
Okay.
where you go in and they have targets pop out 360 degrees around you.
Nice.
And they have a 6,000 foot, a 6,000 square feet shoot house. And then they have 1,000-yard range, and then they have a range that's a little bit down the street that you can go out to a mile.
Awesome.
So it's not really open to the public, so you kind of have to like know someone.
Yeah.
But you can they have a combat village, which is kind of cool, where you can work out through going through a village and like clearing buildings, different buildings and stuff. They have little bird helicopters. So
You get to shoot out of those.
yeah, you can shoot out of those. You can fast rope out of them. I haven't
Very
done
fun.
that. I haven't done that little bird stuff, but I've done a lot of the other stuff. But they're really cool people out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to shoot out of a helicopter one time. What is it? Down in Texas, there was a match, and they brought it in. It was a ladies' match. It was a girl and a gun, and it was pretty cool to shoot steel with your rifle out of the helicopter.
That must be awesome.
Yeah, it was interesting. The guys in the back helping you, they were so cautious because if you think about it, you can't send rounds, nothing up in the air. Like they were, very strict on muzzle control. So it was interesting, but I think it would be a little overwhelming if you hadn't done much shooting.
How much adjustment did you have to do for the downdraft from the rotors?
I don't remember anything like that. I just remember that you had to hold behind instead of ahead. Like you'd think you'd hold ahead, right? But you were holding behind.
Yeah, it makes sense for the physics.
Yeah.
For the bullets actually. Then
once you figured out where you held off, it was pretty easy. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. There's people down in Texas that go hog hunting out of helicopters.
Yes.
Which is kind of cool. I was supposed to go to Texas this coming weekend, but family stuff, so I can't go. My niece isn't doing too well, so we're gonna stay around the area. Yeah, so I'm just staying around the area. But I was supposed to go down to the guys from the Gundies were gonna fly me down to go drive tanks and shoot howitzers and miniguns.
That'd be awesome.
But drive tanks in Texas were gonna have me down in the fall in the spring, I guess, or summer, whatever I can arrange it. Then I'm gonna go down there, so it's gonna be a little bit calmer for me instead of having to compete for time with all these big YouTubers. Just be me.
Yeah.
And my friend. So.
Well, that sounds like a blast.
Yeah, it does sound like a blast. What if is there any place for fixed stocks, PRS rifles, or anything? I have no. Do you know that? Is there any place for fixed stocks, PRS rifles, or anything chassis only? Or is everything chassis only?
No, I mean you can get Manners. Manners sells stocks. Those are just stocks. Magpul's making stocks and chassis. I think it's going to depend on what kind of rifle they're building, but Manners is one of the big names for stocks for PRS guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What type of chassis system do you use, or do you use a stock?
So I have not had my own PR. Like the rifle I've shot for PRS, my son Tim won a surgeon at a match, 4 or 5 years ago now, and we've shot that. He's been kind enough to let us shoot it. And then actually I'm getting ready to do I'm getting ready to do the. It was the Bushnell Team Sniper Challenge, but it's the Vortex. This year, it's Vortex is the lead title sponsor. And I'm getting ready to do that team match with a friend. So I bought an MPA rifle, Masterpiece Arms.
Those are really nice.
Yeah. And so I'm having a proof barrel put on that so that it's a little lighter because you have to lug all your stuff for 3 days. And I'd like to carry as little weight as possible.
Yeah.
Because you have to carry your food, your ammo, your rifle, your gear, your tent if you're sleeping outside. So we're gonna do the whole carry everything for 3 days.
Yeah. How do you like the MPA rifles?
Well, I have not shot it yet. It's been it was sent right to the gunsmith, and then he was putting the proof barrel on it. So I'm gonna get it any day here and do some work on load development so that I can take it and start practicing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've shot some here and there when they have them at, like say a side stage in a match or something. Played around with some from some really nice people when I'm taking photographs or whatever at matches.
They are in demand, to say the least.
I think everything's in demand right now.
Yeah, but even before this happened, everything happened, they were in demand.
Yeah. It's something that I think people who might not be very into firearms or competition, they don't realize sometimes the lead time you need on things. I was working at SHOT Show several years ago, and somebody came up to Krieger Barrel's booth, and they were wondering, hey, what's the lead time? They didn't say what, I think they said the lead time, but they said, I want to get a 5.56 barrel or 308 barrel, and somebody said, oh, it's like 4 months, and this person was just kind of like, what? And I really feel that people don't often understand that when you have a product that is good and there is a demand for it, there is a lead time. Even when there's not a crazy demand, like 8.2 million brand new firearms owners coming into firearms ownership in a year. So even normal times, there's a demand for good products. And so when you consider that, you're like, we need more manufacturers. It'd be awesome to see more manufacturers of everything, right?
Yeah, but like things like Krieger compared to like I would say Remington, but Remington.
You're saying like a
yeah,
OEM manufacturer,
like an OEM manufacturer. There is a difference, and I don't think there's a lot of people that realize the lead times when you go to like a Krieger or whatever, because they're used to the OEM times. But what they don't understand is there is a massive difference
in the product. Yeah. And just in the manufacturing of it, the machining of it, like for people who don't know anything about rifle barrels, there's cut rifle and there's button rifling and there's what else? I know I'm missing one, aren't I?
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah. Explain. There's a few out there, but explain what the difference between those are.
Well, like button rifling is what they kind of hammer it down this bored out piece of steel, right?
Yeah.
They hammer the rifling in with well, I guess the button is the device or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then cut rifling, they're going to take off, like, for example, Kriegers, they take off like 1,000th, or maybe it's finer than that. I should know the numbers on this, but it's like 1/10 of a sheet of paper, and they're taking off this single cut of metal. Oh yeah, cold hammer forge, someone says. They're taking off this very small amount of metal at a time, and the reason that yields such great results for accuracy is that steel is not a homogeneous hunk of metal, right? There's going to be, think of like cheese, right? So you got your cheddar cheese block. There might be some that's like, yeah, it's a little more yellow in here, a little harder right here or there. Steel is kind of like that, right? So you want to source the best steel you can. And then when they're cutting it, the less stress they induce in the metal in the machining processes are going to leave the steel less reactive when you're actually going to shoot it. That'd be the simplest way to say it, I think.
Yeah, that's a good analogy there. Yeah, there's a bunch of different there uh there's a bunch of different methods. Some methods are more expensive than the others. They're
And
slower
time
than the
consuming.
others.
Yeah.
How are you dealing with the ammo for shortage?
It's nerve-wracking. Earlier last year we were really hesitant. You're hesitant to practice. You're maybe going, do I trust all my neighbors? Do they know how much ammo I have or don't have? No, I mean we live out in the country, so we're fortunate in that regard. But um, I think everybody's nervous about what's happening and what's going to happen. I believe that the major ammo manufacturers have come out and said that it will take to the fall of 2022 to catch up with the orders already in. Like as of, I mean, I heard this a couple weeks ago, and that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and who knows what's going to happen with the new administration too.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean,
well,
I think a lot of people don't look at. I'm not going to do math on the fly here, but so we have 8.2 million. That's the last time I heard like a solid yes, we know it's this number. So last year there were 8.2 million new firearms owners or first times firearms purchases. So if you look at that number, um, that is 5.8 times the size of our active military.
yeah,
And you think about those people. Okay, so it's just 8.2 million. They buy 50 rounds of ammo. Just a box.
yeah,
That's a lot of ammo. And to catch up with that demand, on top of that, NSSF, I believe it was, just put out numbers on, we have 52 million people that participate in shooting sports. So then you've got those people who have a demand, they might have some ammo, they might not have planned so well. I think this definitely teaches us that it's a good thing to plan ahead, to have reloading components and all those sorts of things so that you can get through times like this without not getting to shoot.
yeah. I'm actually scratching my itch a little bit. I'm not shooting as much as I used to. I used to go shooting like 3 times a week, but I can't do that anymore. By There is a VR game called a VR Gun Club,
Okay.
and it's not accurate shooting, but it's accurate enough for me to scratch my itch a little bit.
Yeah, the VR stuff. So my boys actually last year before, they got a VR setup, and it was really interesting because I forget what this game was. Hey, what's the name of the game? The one with the room with all the VR guns. The one that I play. The one I played. Sorry, I'm hollering at them. All right, they don't know which game I played. But it was really cool because you walked up to this wall as if you were in an indoor range and you picked up guns and you learned how they worked. Like you were learning how to manipulate them.
That sounds like VR Gun Club.
And you were able to like throw grenades, um, change magazines. So it was really funny, like me figuring out the controls and then trying to um, drop the mag out of this gun and then change mags. I was able to like flick it, whatever, with the control where I'd flick it and get rid of the mag better than I could throw the grenade. So they were laughing at me. And then about 5 minutes into it, I got really nauseous. It just threw my equilibrium off, and I'm like, I'm out, no more.
Yeah, it sounds like VR Gun Club. Where you're at a range, you're not like actually fighting like people or anything like that. You're like target shooting and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know that that was the name of it because there was a whole other side to it that's why they wanted the game. But anyhow, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, but that's what I've been doing lately. Uh, but you have to scratch the itch somehow.
Yeah, I think a lot of people really are underestimating that they can dry fire, and especially for the new people, somebody who just bought a gun and they don't have a lot of experience with it. It might be actually like a blessing in disguise that they could do some more dry fire and might need to do more dry fire, and then they're going to build up some of those basic skills of manipulating the firearms and how they a shotgun, you get some dummy rounds. You can learn a lot with just the basic function of your gun, how to load it and unload it, and all that stuff with dummy rounds. And the same with a pistol, rifle. You don't need ammo. You don't need to have snap caps or dummy rounds really to understand a pistol and a rifle as much as a shotgun. Like, so shotguns have so many differences. Like, is it a pump? Is it semi-auto? And is it a Benelli where you have to hit the button? Is it not? All the little things that you have to do to manipulate a shotgun. I think there's a lot of more variety.
Yeah, Chris Shoemake, your Mantis X that you won is going out tomorrow. Just letting you know. We had to go up to New York, so I didn't get it out. But I use something from a company called Mantis. It's called a Blackbeard for my AR,
Okay.
and it replaces the bolt carrier group and the charging handle, and then a battery pack gets inserted into the mag weld, and it looks like a magazine, and
I have seen these.
yeah, it's awesome.
Yes, they are. We have one for the pistol, and we have some friends who were up last fall. They had one for the rifle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what the Blackbeard does for the people out there, it resets the trigger, and it shoots a little laser down the barrel. So you don't have to.
Cool.
Yeah,
You get the feedback, that it's telling you, like the Mantis for the pistol. You can see where were your sights when you broke the trigger, right?
Yeah.
And then what are your sights? What's the travel afterwards? So what happened when you pulled that trigger? And that's information you can train yourself to see in a way. When you're dry firing, you can watch your sights and see, okay, so if I'm going to practice my draw and present the gun, put it on the target, dry fire one, like the first shot, what do I see in my sights? Do they, dip down because I pulled? All those things that you can look for, but you have to kind of know what you're looking for. So for a new person, something like the Mantis is pretty cool to have that feedback information.
Yeah, and full full transparency, they are a sponsor. So, but they're a sponsor because I love their stuff.
Yeah, it's a good product.
Yeah, I talk about them a lot, so they're like, "Hey, you talk about us. Why don't we sponsor you?" I was like, "Fine with me."
That's awesome.
I give away Mantis products every once in a while, but the Blackbeard is just, yeah, it's incredible for an AR. It's just awesome because there's no, like, when you're dry firing an AR, there's no, trigger breaks. You have to reset the,
Yeah.
pull the charging handle. It just everything's automatic.
Not a lot of it.
So yeah, so everything's automatic, and I think it gives you a little bit more of a like a true feeling.
Yeah.
And then and then the laser, they have an app where you put it up so you can, like, it'll look at the target. It will show you on the app where you hit. So it's really cool. They make some really creative products, and right now their products are flying off the shelf because people can't get ammo, so they're getting.
I mean, we had time
products
in the springtime, spring and summer, where people couldn't even go to ranges. There, especially in some of the more densely populated urban areas, people didn't have access even to ranges. So something like that to dry fire is definitely a good tool to have.
Yeah, I still get cheaper than dirt emails, even though I would never buy from cheaper than dirt. But they sent out an email today, and it was like a box of 50 rounds of Winchester FMJs. And I opened it up to see how much it is because it didn't have a price in the email. I was like, "This is going to be expensive because it's cheaper than the dirt." It's like $99.99. Like,
for a box of 50.
50, yeah, but
Wow.
they're cheaper than dirt is.
One of my sisters works at Cabela's, and my younger brother was like, "I need some 9mm," and so she went to look for him. And I don't know if she said it was $13 for what she found, or 20. But I remember him going like, "This is crazy." I could not imagine paying. Yeah. Definitely not cheaper than. I got some dirt that's a lot cheaper than that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really crazy. I just wish that the prices would come back down so I can go to the range more.
Yeah. I mean, I believe one of the major manufacturers put out some info a couple weeks ago about their prices going up by X%. But I think that's also due to the fact that raw materials aren't coming into the country the way they used to. And were you the one who said the thing about the lead? Like, there's not even anybody, what do we say, refining? What do you want
Yeah,
to say? Like,
yeah.
where
That's
are we
one
getting
of
raw
the things.
materials from? I mean, it's not something that you really want to laugh about. Like, you'd more cry about it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, people think, well, all these ammo manufacturers are competing against each other, but with the raw materials, they're competing against other industries as well.
Right. Right. And I've heard a few. Last week, like Winchester last week did all their new product launches, and they did a lot of work, to put all that together. It was really cool to see, and it was such a frustrating to watch the comments because people would just immediately jump on. And I mean, it's every brand that's putting out ammo and anybody who posts about ammo. And people just jump on there and they get all angry and why aren't people working? Just make more. And it's like they don't realize where the raw materials do or do not come from. And all of these things that are going on that are impeding the process, or just the fact that there's so much demand that they could be running 24/7. They could be running day and night with all the supplies possible coming in, and the manufacturing capabilities, just the machining processes aren't going to produce enough for this demand. Which,
Yeah.
in a lot of ways, I look at it and like it's frightening because all of us go like, what's going to happen here? But it's also, to me, I think it's good in a way because we just had 5.8 times the size of our active military American citizens go out and buy a gun because they feel that they're going to exercise their right to defend themselves and they want to be prepared. That is awesome. We should
Yeah.
be happy about that.
I know in the first 10 days of January, we've beat last January total number of gun sales by 77%.
I don't doubt it.
And
I
that's
don't
in
doubt it.
10 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just insane. It just like I have people calling me up who aren't gun people or never were gun people, and they're asking me, "Hey, I need to get a gun. Where can I get a gun from?" Like, good luck.
Yeah. We have some friends out on the West Coast in that very northern corner in Washington State. And then some friends that were down in Oregon. And it was really interesting because they had people closer to the cities, Seattle or Portland, who were freaking out because of all the rioting and the anarchy going on. And they're like, well, can I borrow a gun? And they were like, no, maybe you should have, like it's illegal for me to do that. And maybe this is why you need to be considering who you're voting for.
Yeah.
So I think the evidence is there in the numbers of people who've purchased a firearm in the last year, that people are realizing why they have this right and why they need to exercise it, and not just when they're afraid. They need to be all the time prepared so that they're not left kind of high and dry and defenseless.
Yeah, I was talking to a guy I used to know. Well, I say I used to know. I still know him, but I used to argue with him because he was like anti-gun, so anti-gun. Why does anybody need a gun? Why does anybody need a gun? So I'm walking out of the range, and he's walking in, and he have a rifle case. I'm like, wait a minute, like you were anti-gun. I haven't talked to him in like months. He's like, yeah, I know. And I was like, what do you have there? He goes, my AR. It's like, wait a minute. You were anti-gun. He's like, yeah, I know. It's like, did somebody put that GOA sticker on there? He's like, no. He's like, I don't remember.
This is in the last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the hell? He's like, I've been meaning to call you and tell you that you were right.
Aw. I mean, and it's not like I don't believe that the people who have always exercised their Second Amendment rights are um, are worried about their friends who might change their mind, telling them they're right. I just want them to be able to defend themselves, take care of their families, all that. Like, I don't care if somebody goes, "Yep, you were right," or "Well, I don't agree." You know, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It just matters that they're exercising that freedom.
I just thought it was kind of funny though.
Yeah.
Chris Shoemake wants to know, what do you think about the new 6.8 round?
I have not shot it yet, so I got to see a lot of cool stuff about it, and I'm sure you've seen all the Winchester, all their new product launches. Go to Browning too and look at their video because they did a neat one with the hunting. It looks awesome. It's the ballistic coefficient is 0.620, and that's the ballistic coefficient you get out of some of like the DTAC bullets, like the 115 grain 6mm bullets. So it's kind of cool to see that ballistic coefficient. I'll be excited when I finally get to shoot one.
Yeah, I can't wait to shoot it. Hopefully, it doesn't go the way of like the Valkyrie. I still have I have a few Valkyrie rifles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually buy like really weird calibers as well. Like calibers that you need to get like a special guy to make for you, or old calibers, or you know, it's just I don't know. I like weird guns.
Our middle son Sean is kind of like that. He has his Mosin Nagant. I mean, I think several of them have Mosins. But for his birthday, so his birthday is right after Christmas, and he always kind of gets hosed on on birthday presents. And every few years we sort of try to make up for it. So this year my husband's like, all right, I got him something really cool for his birthday. And he bought him this reproduction Civil War era revolver, like black powder revolver. And I was so focused on Christmas. I had taken a trip with my younger one right before Christmas to do some training out in Washington, and then kind of getting things ready for the Christmas and the family, and then getting ready to go do some work with one of the brands. I was like not really tracking. I'm like, all right, cool, you got him a black powder pistol. And then when he got it, I'm like, wait, it's a revolver? Like, you load each of them? And they looked at me like I was just pretending to be stupid. And because I hadn't processed the idea, I'm like, that's so dangerous. Like, you have a ball and powder and 6 little cylinders. Like,
Yeah,
it just doesn't seem. That's like, as a mom, I'm looking at it like, I don't know that I'm comfortable with this.
well, a lot of people who are prohibited people, they will carry that because they're allowed to.
Oh, because it's black powder.
Yeah.
I just think so he timed it. It took him 10 minutes to reload all the cylinders and put the percussion caps on. And, truly, as a mom, I'm sitting there thinking like, man, if that goes wrong, I know that the powder's covered with the bullet or the patch or whatever they're putting in there, but I'm still just kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
Cartridges are so much better. Modern firearms have something to them.
Yeah. That is definitely that is definitely true. A caliber, yeah, a caliber that I really like is not a caliber, a weird gun that I really like. I have a 30 caliber air gun.
And what do you do with that?
Honestly, nothing. You can go deer hunting with it though. I got it for free a few years ago.
How far are you going to shoot a deer with a 30 caliber air rifle?
A lot of people can do it from. I mean, a lot of people shoot like 100 yards, 200 yards. They're really powerful.
So is it like a pump, or does it have a cylinder? Like,
oh no, it has like a freaking scuba tank.
Okay.
I'll show you a picture. It's not like an air rifle like you think that you.
Yeah,
pump.
that's what I'm thinking.
Oh no. This is it's it's full on. Like you have like a big ass scuba tank or a small ass scuba tank thing. I want to. If I can't grab it or YouTube, I don't know. YouTube will kick us off if I touch a gun.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
let
I'll
me.
Google it on my phone. What's it called?
I'll show you. I got it right here.
Yeah, crazy. So YouTube would kick you off if you showed a picture?
No, I can show a picture. I just can't touch the gun. It like the gun here, right? If I touch it, it will automatically think that
It needs to end this podcast.
yeah, it will automatically think that
It will automatically take over as the lawyer for Twitter or whatever she was saying today.
yeah. I'll find it. It's really cool. Though it's kind of not the cheapest. The thing about air guns that are when they're like it's called it's a pre-charged pneumatic. I don't know if you know what pre-charged.
Pneumatic, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
That's the kind we shot fine work bows in college. So
okay.
you'd go into the tank and you'd fill up your cylinder and screw it onto the gun and shoot for a while until your seals went bad and you were at collegiate sectionals.
Oh, that happened to you?
Yeah. Your last target.
Oh,
last
wow.
big match you're ever going to shoot in college, NCAA stuff, and you're like,
oh, wow.
All the words.
Oh, wow. Okay. Here is a good picture. Okay.
So have you taken any deer with this pneumatic air gun?
No, I'm not a deer hunter.
Okay. Just because you don't get a chance to, or because Virginia has like Bambi-sized deer? Dog-sized deer.
I know I eat deer, right? Okay. Via Wolf says, keep up the good shooting. Let me show it here. Let me just share my screen.
Ah, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't look like an air rifle.
It's an air rifle.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So
Yeah,
I guess apparently we should all be casting air rifle pellets for hunting, and we should all have one of these, and ammo shortage wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, well, yeah. This is it's a day state air rifle. They're expensive though. They're more expensive than like a 30 cal rifle.
I believe it.
And then not only that, but the actual device, the tank that you need to charge it, because you fill it up, but like you have this like scuba tank thing,
right?
And you go and you have that filled up, and that's what you bring with you, because you only get a couple shots out of
right.
each
You have
one.
a cylinder that you have to recharge. The cylinder that attaches to the gun needs to be charged every so many, and so you're like we used to carry those around when we would for matches, you know, but like now, like if you had that on a plane, you gotta empty it, take the things off of it, just like if you fly with paintball stuff. If you wanted to go to say shoot a paintball match event, you'd have to take all your stuff apart. Yeah.
One of the things that talking about flying, one of the things that sucks being in the DC area, I was supposed to go to Texas in a couple days, but I'm not going. But if I did, I wouldn't be able to bring my gun, not because I couldn't fly out there to Texas, but I couldn't fly back.
Because of what's going on right now.
Yeah. You can't fly into the DC area with a gun.
I think it's something that honestly people should be challenging. You know, rights organizations should be challenging this because
that might be happening.
Right. It's a limit on people's freedom of travel. It's not just your Second Amendment rights and your right to take your gun with you, which is legal, and airlines all have policies, and you know, it's also limiting your freedom of travel then. So it's impacting more than just your Second Amendment rights.
Yeah. I know someone who might be challenging it through a gun rights organization, because they are um, they are in California now, and they're supposed to fly back in a week.
Hmm. And when is this supposed to end?
Did I say California? What did I say California? Nevada. Not California, Nevada. I don't know why I said California. They haven't given a date when it ends.
Right. So that you can suspend your right to travel and exercise the Second Amendment, and we don't have to tell you when it stops. Kind of sounds like Wisconsin right now with their emergency orders that have extended 10 months or something.
Yeah.
It's insanity.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Christian make I was talking about suppressors on air rifles aren't regulated to his knowledge, and you're right, they're not. But here's the thing: a lot of them have to be if they're compatible, because they actually had a suppressor that was on a 30 cal air rifle, but it was detachable, which was a no. I was looking at this when I was foiling some stuff from ATF. I was reading about it. I don't know what company it was because that was all blacked out, but it was detachable and it was actually compatible with a 30 cal rifle.
So yeah, that would be a no-no, right?
That was a big no.
Yeah.
Because, but yeah, a lot of have them, but you got to be very careful.
Yeah. It's really funny because all of our friends, international friends that we compete with, in Britain, Great Britain, all the Brits are like, this is silly. We like it's impolite to shoot and make noise. They all have suppressors. Like, why would you not do that? Why would you make it that you have to have some special, pile of paperwork and tax just to be polite and quiet and not disturb your neighbors or damage your hearing? It's ridiculous.
But there's a lot of stupid people out there. Like there's a very anti-gun person that that lives near me. She's involved in Moms Demand Action. So she was spouting some crap about suppressors, and how we want suppressors to be legal. It's going to make it easier for criminals because they're not going to be able to, because I don't know, stupid
I
crap.
think people don't really understand how they function and that there still is actually a significant sound. It's just not so much that it's going to damage your hearing if you don't have hearing protection on.
Well, I sent her an episode of Mythbusters where they actually talked about it, saying these aren't the weapons of assassins. They're whatever. And she's like, "Well, that's just pro-gun propaganda." And I'm like, "It's MythBusters." It's like, what are you talking about?
Crazy.
It's like, it's like,
Suspend the laws of logic.
yeah, it was exactly that. And she's like, "Well, I talked to someone in the military, and they said that they used it on special ops missions, so no one could hear them." I'm like, "Who the hell did you talk to?"
Special people.
It's just it's like one thing. If you talk to someone in the military who said they were special ops, and they explain that a suppressor, you know, makes it so no one can hear them ever, there's something wrong. Plus, they're probably running. Yeah, I don't know what military has, but I don't know. Yeah, I was just so frustrated. I was just whatever. It's the same person who argued with me, and they use the same source when I tried to tell them uh, that an AR-15 is can't fire multiple rounds with a single trigger pull. That they're semi-automatic for the most part. And she was like, "Well, my friend who was special forces says that they can," and then he was special forces, so he's like, I'm like, if
Yeah.
someone's
There's a
lying to
disconnect
you,
there somewhere. There's a disconnect there somewhere.
like someone's lying to you, so I just stopped talking at all. to her. Because she's like, you need a license to drive a car. Why wouldn't you need a license to have a gun? I'm like, because they don't mention cars in the Constitution. And it was I just stopped talking to her. She was an idiot. Um, it was an idiot. She reached out to me because she wanted to learn about our side on guns and and have a conversation about what. So I was like, okay, I can do that. Your mom's demand action, um, and I'm GOA, so let's have a conversation, listen to each other's concerns. But every time I was like, oh, okay, this is what I think. Well, you're wrong. Okay, well, you said you wanted to learn. I think you're not a gun expert. All right. So, when's your next competition?
So the next competition I'm going to shoot is end of February. It's the long range team match that I'm going to go to.
And how long is the longest shot you're going to take?
They don't tell you. I believe that last year they might have gone out to like 1,300 yards or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not bad. What caliber?
So I'm shooting a 6mm Creedmoor.
Oh, nice. Nice. I like the Creedmoors. They're pretty good. They're a pretty good round. I was talking to what is it? What is it? Brad Steer, who makes like a Shytac round.
Okay.
And he's the one who hooked me up with Ritter and Stark. And they were developing a rifle that shot some type of like specialized like 6.8 Shytac type round, but Ritter and Stark went bankrupt. All right. We've been on for about an hour, so we're gonna start wrapping it up here. I just want to thank you for coming on. I've been wanting to have you on for a while, just so we can talk about pro shooting. Final question: is Keanu Reeves really a good shooter from the videos that you've seen of him?
Is he a really good shooter from the videos? I think because we know Taryn, and we know that Keanu's been out there to work with him at the range there. And if you've ever watched any of Taryn's videos on like point shooting, the guy is crazy skilled at point shooting. It's insane to watch him shoot a plate rack. And then knowing that he worked with Keanu and trained him, I think that when you see those videos, you're like, yeah, he's put in a little bit of work there. It's pretty cool to see. In terms of movies with shooters or shooting scenes where they've actively trained or whatever, I would say those movies. The only other movie that I think is like Heat. That's like the best movie with shooting in it ever. I don't think anything's going to top that movie because they actually looked like they had skills applicable to the scenes they were shooting, to the firearms they were using. And so I'd say the John Wick movies are probably the only other movies that, I mean, I'm sure there's military ones, but I'm just saying from like the general, Hollywood stuff you see, it's neat to see a movie where people are actually doing some work with somebody who might be able to give them some sort of skills that are practical.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on. You can find all my stuff at crumpy.com. I have Patreon, patreon.com/John Crump. And check out Tusk. That's TUSC.network. And I'm going to give you the final word. So you can plug whatever you want to plug. You can say whatever you want to say.
Well, thank you, John, for having me on here. And to everyone watching, thanks. You can follow me. It's just like on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, Becky Yackley. And our whole family is on there too. But I'd say everybody this year needs to be really active in talking with their representatives and fighting to keep all of their Second and First Amendment rights protected. Exercise them.
All right. Well, that works. Hold on for 1 second. And I will be right back with you. I'm gonna drop the outro, and then we will get out of here. I will be back on Wednesday. Wednesday, I can't remember who I have on, but then Thursday, I have a Navy SEAL turned motivational speaker who wrote several books. So he's an average Navy SEAL because it seems like every Navy SEAL becomes a motivational speaker and write books, but should be kind of cool. All right, guys. I will see you tomorrow. I have a video dropping tomorrow on one of Trump's executive actions that are basically targeting the ATF. I knew it was coming. I expected it last week, honestly, but I don't know why it took until this week. But whatever. I'm going to be right back.